More than 80% of the ocean has never been mapped, and the deeper you go, the stranger the residents get. Forget the sea monsters from old sailor legends. We're talking about real animals, alive right now, that break the rules biology is supposed to follow. One of them throws a punch so fast it boils the water around it. Another has blue blood and 3 separate hearts. A third has been swimming since before the United States existed. These aren't superpowers somebody invented for a comic book. They're survival tools that evolution spent millions of years perfecting. So here are 5 ocean animals whose abilities are so absurd they sound made up. And number 1 hits harder than a bullet. First up, the mantis shrimp, a creature barely longer than your finger that hits like a heavyweight. There are 2 kinds, spearers, which stab their prey, and smashers, which club it. The smashers are the ones that made scientists rewrite the physics of the animal kingdom. That club-like arm accelerates thousands of times the force of gravity, reaching the speed of a .22 caliber bullet in the blink of an eye. It moves so fast the water itself can't get out of the way. That leaves behind a pocket of vapor called a cavitation bubble, and when the bubble collapses, it releases a flash of light and a burst of heat that, for a split second, approaches the temperature of the surface of the sun. The practical result is that the mantis shrimp lands 2 hits for the price of 1. The punch and the shockwave right behind it. It can shatter crab shells, snail armor, and the occasional aquarium wall. And its eyes are just as ridiculous. Where you have 3 types of color receptor, the mantis shrimp has as many as 16, and it sees ultraviolet and polarized light you can't even imagine. Pound for pound, it might be the most heavily armed animal on Earth. Number 2 is the octopus, an animal so alien that if it had arrived on a spaceship, nobody would be surprised. Start with the plumbing. An octopus has 3 hearts. 2 of them pump blood through the gills, and the third sends it to the rest of the body. That main heart actually stops beating whenever the octopus swims, which is part of why they would usually rather crawl. Swimming literally exhausts them, and the blood those hearts are pumping isn't red, it's blue, because octopuses carry oxygen using copper instead of iron. Copper-based blood is far better at grabbing oxygen in cold, low-oxygen water, which is exactly where a lot of them live. Then there's the mind. About 2/3 of an octopus's neurons aren't in its head at all, they're spread through its arms. Each arm can taste, touch, and make decisions on its own, so in a real sense, an octopus has 1 central brain and 8 semi-independent ones. Severed from the body, an arm will still reach out and grab food. Add near-instant camouflage that changes color and even texture, and you have an animal that feels less like a relative and more like first contact. Number 3 lives in the freezing dark of the North Atlantic and the Arctic, and it may be the oldest living vertebrate on the planet. The Greenland shark grows about a centimeter a year, painfully, almost unbelievably slow. When scientists estimated the age of these sharks by dating proteins in the lenses of their eyes, the numbers came back staggering. Lifespan stretching between 250 and over 500 years. That means some Greenland sharks alive today were born before the United States existed, swimming the same cold water while empires rose and fell above them. They don't even reach maturity until around 150 years old. Living in this ultra-slow motion, they drift through near freezing water, scavenging and ambushing seals, their metabolism turned almost all the way down. Most carry parasites on their eyes that leave them nearly blind, but in water this dark and this deep, eyesight barely matters. They are, in every sense, living fossils that never stop swimming. Number 4 cheats death. It's a jellyfish smaller than your fingernail, called Turritopsis dohrnii, and it does something no other complex animal can reliably pull off. It can age in reverse. A normal jellyfish grows up, reproduces, and dies. But when this one is starving, injured, or simply getting old, it hits a biological reset button. Its adult body dissolves and its cells transform back into an earlier life stage, the little polyp it started as, anchored to the seafloor. From there, it grows up all over again, genetically identical, as if it pressed rewind on its own life. In theory, it can repeat this loop forever, which is why scientists nicknamed it the Immortal Jellyfish. In practice, it still gets eaten, and it still catches diseases, so the oceans aren't overflowing with ancient jellyfish. But in a lab, protected and fed, a single individual can cycle through this reset again and again, quietly ignoring the one rule everything else on Earth has to obey. And number 5 might be the best special effects artist in the sea, the cuttlefish. It's a cousin of the octopus, and its skin is a living screen. Underneath it sit millions of tiny color cells the cuttlefish can expand and shrink in an instant, layered over cells that reflect and scatter light. Together they let it change color and pattern faster than you can blink, sending rippling bands of light rolling across its body to hypnotize a crab just before it strikes. Here's the twist. As far as we can tell, the cuttlefish is colorblind. It pulls off perfect color camouflage without seeing color the way we do, possibly by reading the world through polarized light and the strange W-shaped pupil in its eye. It can flash a mate on one side of its body while showing bright colors to a rival on the other, running 2 completely different displays at once. A boneless, colorblind animal that paints itself into invisibility? If the ocean has a magician, this is it. If your brain just short-circuited, hit subscribe. On this channel, it only gets weirder from here.